बीच में ये नहीं आ रहा है, तो नहीं आ रहा है। Welcome again, friend. We now move on to our second technical session, which is equally and more significant. And the topic is important judgment of GST recent case law, and it will be delivered by none other than CA Manish Gadia, a senior member of our study circle, also a past convener and highly respected past chairman of WIRC. CA Manish ji always been known for his deep understanding of indirect tax law and his unique ability to simplify complex judicial development. क्योंकि WIRC की राहों से लेकर स्टडी सर्किल तक उनका योगदान रहा है सच्चा और सबक। आज फिर ज्ञान की वो मशाल जलाएंगे, जीएसटी के फैसलों को सरलता से समझाएंगे। आई इनवाइट our past convener CA Seema Mehta to give a brief introduction of our speaker. हालांकि उनको इंट्रोडक्शन की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, everyone know him.
Thank you, Kailash ji, for giving me the opportunity to introduce CA Manish ji Gadia. Actually, Manish ji का introduction चाहिए नहीं JB नगर स्टडी सर्कल में, लेकिन फिर भी for formality, I am giving his introduction. He is a founder member of JB Nagar Study Circle and past WRC chairman. Now his profile I have updated in the chat GPT, and chat GPT has given me the brief this thing. So I'm reading that only. We are honored to welcome CA Manish Gadia, a visionary leader and a seasoned professional with over 2 decades of practice in the field of GST. He is a prolific writer, having co-authored notable publications such as Handbook on Valuation and the Statutory Obligation of Cooperative Housing Society. He is a regular contributor to various professional journals and a respected faculty at IC and other institutions. He has delivered over 750 lectures across India. He served as a chairman of WRC of ICI for the year 2021-22 and held key positions in the several committees, including professional development, indirect tax. Notably, he is also founder convener of JB Nagar CP Study Circle, a vibrant knowledge sharing platform of our region. This introduction, he has given this introduction to me, and then in the chat GPT and AI give me a brief, so nicely drafted introduction. Thank you very much. And I invite CA Jay Shah, past convener of JB Nagar Study Circle. Anil Sharma ji hai kya? To give a momentum to the today's speaker. Before giving the this thing, I request Dinesh ji to give the announcement regarding some AI.
Thank you, Seema. So during the break, Manish ji, me and Kailash ji, we were, speaking about today's session, very interesting session by our speaker. And then we came up with an idea, which, I'm happy to announce. So tool जितने भी हैं AI के चैट जीपीटी या क्लॉड या जेमिनाई दे वेरी पावरफुल बट हम कैसे उन्हें यूज करते हैं is what actually matters और how we take benefit out of these tools. तो जैसे सीमा जी ने अभी बताया नो सिंपल यूज केस है कि एक बड़ा सारा प्रोफाइल है तो आप समरी उसी वक्त जनरेट करके आप अच्छी तरह से बता सकते हैं एंड आई एम श्योर सीमा डिड नॉट मिस एनीथिंग which needed to be spoken about Manish, right? So I did a wonderful, way of, I would have done the same thing for Nikunj also, right? 3 pages. So I'm happy to announce that we have decided to have a new feature in every seminar, and we call it AI Capsule. So in every seminar, there'll be a 15-minute AI capsule where one of our members only, we'll have a system in place where anybody can, come forward and speak about the use case that they found useful in their practice or in their work. So it will be short, crisp, 15 minutes, practical. The person can, come up the practical way to demonstrate that feature for the benefit of all the users. If you have seen the hackathon videos of AI committee, those are full of wonderful use cases, right? But I think not many people are viewing those videos. Since this is a platform where we assemble and then we really pay attention to what the what we are learning, it will be very good platform. So I hope we'll get a lot of members to come forward and present their use cases. Thank you so much.
Sir, what kind of how it will happen, sir? You can throw some light.
Okay, so right now I'm not really given a much thought. So it will be like
Because it is future or maybe the current, and Nico just said.
correct. So probably I know a lot of CAs are using it for various use cases in their firm. So I'll give you one example. One chartered accountant is using it for litigation practice. Okay. So now for litigation practice, there are many use cases where you can upload a notice. It will analyze, point by point that what the notice is asking for, and then how you can deliberate on each point to get a legal view about that or to present a fact. And this is iterative practice. It won't happen in one prompt. You keep on refining your answer. And at the end of 1 hour, you can have a very nice submission. This is one example of a use case. There are several use cases of people using AI to do reconciliation, GST reconciliation. And there are many ways of doing it. There's no one way of doing it, right? So I think a lot of creativity will come in front of us because I'm sure a lot of youngsters are using AI in their day-to-day work, and it will benefit all of us. Thank you. Yeah, inviting Manish to take over.
Good morning, everyone. So first of all, I thank Jivinagar Study Circle for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. And I still remember that the first lecture on service tax, what I gave was at this study circle only. And whatever today I am in my professional life is because of this study circle, your love, your affection. So thank you very much to all of you. For the same. So it was wonderful session, and Nikunj has covered how we can use AI for tax litigations. And now Tejwani ji has come out with a new idea that every session, 15 minutes capsule will be there on AI. It will be great. And I always remember that once upon a time, we all used to have Nokia phone. कोई ऐसा है जिसके पास नोकिया नहीं था? मैं जब मेरे शादी हुई हनीमून पे गया, सो कोडेक का कैमरा और कोडेक की फिल्म होती थी, और वो भी यहाँ से लेके जानी पड़ती थी फिल्म, क्योंकि वहां तो डुप्लीकेट आती थी, खुलेगी कि नहीं खुलेगी पता नहीं. Now how many of us are using Kodak? Yes. So same way, if we are not start using AI, then we will also become Nokia or Kodak sooner. Correct निकुंज भाई? तो उन्होंने हमको समझाया या डराया मुझे नहीं पता. But the fact is that now we can't escape using technology. दिनेश जी ने बताया कि अगर मुझे रिकंसिलिएशन करना है जीएसटी का, then AI can also be useful. करेक्ट तेजवानी जी? और आज की तारीख में हमारे ऑफिस में आधे से ज्यादा लिटिगेशन तो उसी पे चल रहे हैं. करेक्ट केजिन? So we are fighting and struggling only with the reconciliation. Still 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 पता नहीं. So anyway, so अभी हम जस्ट डिस्कस कर रहे थे. So ललित जी कहाँ गए? ललित जी गायब हो गए. तो ललित जी बता रहे थे नवनाथ ने बना के भेजा टॉपिक का नाम. सो उन्होंने कहा इंपॉर्टेंट जजमेंट इन जीएसटी कैश लॉ. Then he corrected to case law. So there are various similarities. Since it has been recorded, I am not going further into deliberation. But before going to case law, case law, there are certain important changes which are going to be there as far as the return is concerned. Seema ji has instructed me specifically to cover the same. So as per Finance Act 2023, they have introduced saying that the taxpayer shall not be allowed to file their GST return after the expiry of period of 3 years. So आप अभी 3 साल से पुराने रिटर्न नहीं भर सकते, पहले आप ये भर सकते थे. That was allowed. And people started using or maybe misusing, I don't know, the same facility. But now, whether it is GSTR 1, 3B, 4, 5, 6, so list is very long of returns. I'm not going into that detail. But you will not be now allowed after July 25 to file any return which are older than 3 years. Now, if you have filed your GSTR 1 and if you have made some mistake in GSTR 1A, so then you can amend the same in GSTR 1A. And once you file GSTR 3B, then all the data of 1 or 1A as the case maybe will reflect in your 3B. फिर उसको हम क्या करते हैं? चेंज कर देते हैं. उसका क्या इंपैक्ट होता है? 1 3B मिसमैच होता है. मेरा जो कस्टमर है वो बोलता है सर 2B में तो मुझे दिख रहा है क्रेडिट, बट डिपार्टमेंट ने नोटिस भेजा है कि टैक्स हैज नॉट बीन पेड बाय द सप्लायर. सो नाउ टू ओवरकम ऑल दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, नाउ दे आर फ्रॉम जुलाई ऑनवर्ड्स they will freeze the liability data what has been there in your GSTR 3B. It will automatically come from your 1. So you have to be very sure while filing your GSTR 1 return, then your liability cannot be editable. So now these are the few changes which are applicable, going to be applicable from this month. Now I am coming to case laws. So how many of you are there in your society as a committee member? कोई भी नहीं है. नहीं 8-10 जन ही है सर, बाकी कोई कमिटी में है ही नहीं लग रहा है. वेरी सरप्राइजिंग है. पर मेंबर से सबसे ज्यादा क्वेरी तो मेरे को सोसाइटी की आती है. एनीवे, so there is a long drawn litigations are going about the principle of mutuality. So there is very famous judgment as far as GST or service tax or VAT law is concerned on the mutuality about the Calcutta club, which was there for VAT as well as service tax, and then High Court judgment was there, Kolkata High Court, then it went to Supreme Court. And in detail it has been discussed. The issue was whether a member and the club are two different entities or they are one and the same. So if members goes to the club charge membership fees, or maybe they are selling food or beverages in the club to their members, whether they are liable to pay VAT as well as service tax on the same. That was the issue before the court. And club always argued that the members and the club essentially are the same entity. There is no difference. There is no two person. So there is no sale or service involved, and thus no tax liability should be there. And also they argued that even the 46th amendment what has been made and which has given a right to collect VAT on work contract or maybe food and beverages, this kind of sale or services. So club always argued that even the 46th amendment of the constitution, a deeming fiction, also altered, but the mutuality concept is still there. There has to be two party, at least for sale or maybe as far as transaction of service to happen. And the club and member are the same. So High Court also said the same thing, and the Supreme Court also upheld the same thing. In case of Calcutta, then Ranchi Club, various other judgments are there. I am not going into that detailing. Why I am discussing this is that as far as GST is concerned, whether it is cooperative housing society or maybe a cooperative society or maybe club or association, both are on the same taxing entry and both are treated as similar tax treatment. So clear with this? So this Supreme Court judgment came in the year 2019. Then government realized that they have not taken care of this in the GST law. So whether the club, association or cooperative societies or resident welfare association can be taxed under GST or not. So they have some doubt in government mind. So what they did is from January 22 onwards, or maybe in Finance Bill 21, they have proposed a retrospective amendment in the definition of supply. They have inserted clause AA to section 7(1), and we say that the activity or a transactions by a person other than an individual to its member or constituent or vice versa for cash deferred payment or other valuable consideration will be treated as supply. And then they have added the explanation also. For the purpose of this clause, it is hereby clarified that notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force or any judgment, decree, etc., the person and its member or constituent shall be deemed to be a two separate persons, and the supply of activity or transaction inter se shall be deemed to take place from one or such person to another. And this has been, they have said that it will be retrospective from 1st July 2017, the date from which the GST law became applicable. What is the reason? To overcome judgment of Supreme Court in case of Calcutta Club. So they tried to create a dimming fiction saying that no mutuality concept and member and the club are different to override the judgment of the Supreme Court. But still a question arises whether this is a sufficient, this amendment, to take care of the same or not. आप सब cooperative society में रह रहे हैं, paying a membership fees, maintenance charges, or paying a GST on the same? Yes or no? नहीं भरे? क्या चितलाएंगे जी? हाँ? क्यों? अमाउंट के साथ हो गए. Okay. So GST law says that if any common maintenance, common services, what has been procured by a society and recovered from the members, and if that contribution is less than 7,500 per member per month, then it will be exempt. Correct? तो इसके लिए नहीं लगता, लेकिन अगर 7,500 के ऊपर है तो लगता है. बराबर है? Society is collecting parking charges. That is not the common procurement of service. उस पे लगता है irrespective of 7,500. Correct? So I'm not going into that detailing. So this was the question still there. Many consultants have a view that even though if they have inserted this clause explanation with retrospective effect, will have no impact as far as the taxability is concerned. Many consultants have a view, no. Once it has been inserted, now they have a right to recover the tax. Recently in the year 2025, Indian Medical Association, IMA, Kerala, knocked the door of Kerala High Court. So it's an association, correct? So they said still the concept of mutuality persists and no tax should be leviable whatever we are recovering from members, because member and the society or maybe the club or maybe the association, whatever you say, is one and the same. And this is a very good judgment of a division bench covering various judgments of earlier Supreme Court, High Court, etc. on this, maybe under the income tax law, maybe under the VAT law, maybe under the erstwhile service tax law. And in great detail, they have analyzed the same. And ultimately, they said that once the 46th Amendment has been made in the Constitution, the still mutuality concept is there, which was not override by 46th Amendment. That's why all this court has said that it will not be leviable to tax. So as far as the concept of sale or maybe the service is concerned, there has to be a two-party. One cannot supply goods or services, or supply cannot take place to self. So there has to be two parties So still mutuality concept is there unless government change something in the constitution. So ultimately they ruled that since mutuality is there, even the insertion of section 71AA will have no impact, and this service will, or with this supply will not be leviable to tax. This is the judgment in the year 2000, in this year only, latest judgment. The still matter will definitely go to Supreme Court, and we have to wait and watch for the same. What is going to happen in future. So now the question here is, in this scenario, what we should do? जयेश भाई, क्या करना चाहिए अभी? So I always say that in indirect tax, always the golden rule is once you are in a position to recover tax, do not come to people like us. हमारे पास आपको कब आना है? जब आप फंस जाओ या आप जब टैक्स रिकवर नहीं कर पाओ तो हमारे जैसे लोगों के पास आओ, अदरवाइज डू नॉट कम टू अस. So that you should keep in mind is that if you are not recovering tax now, if any decision comes, then or maybe the litigation comes, the cost will be on the supply, not on the recipient. But the tax is going from the recipient pocket, not from the supplier's pocket. So there is a difference between income tax and GST on this front. That you have to keep in mind and then take a call. क्या करना है? But definitely फंस गए आप. So this will be a good capsule. जो हमको बता के गए तेजवानी जी. This is a good capsule to save us. So any question on this, or I'll move to next. What is advanced ruling, sir?
That is about the electricity supply. If they have extended, that will have an impact on this.
See, two things, sir. First of all, whether we are going with this judgment or we are not going with this judgment. Correct? So if you decided, okay, I will not follow this judgment, I will not take any risk. So that next thing is that you will start recovering tax. In my view, if any society is recovering maintenance charges and took the call that we do not follow this judgment, then whether you collect electricity, whether you collect water charges, then everything will be taxable. Because what electricity is exempted. Why it has been exempted? Because electricity duty is there on the same. Water charges, what BMC is collecting is exempt because it is the duty of municipal corporation to provide as per the constitution. Correct? But as a society, you are not supplying electricity, you are not supplying water. What you are supplying to your members, if you treat this as a supply, so what you are supplying to your members is a service of maintenance. And for maintenance, you are procuring this electricity or this water charges, etc. So you are not supplying electricity as it is.
Will override the advance being given in the case of the 9th standard society.
If that's what I'm saying. If you go with this ruling, so nothing is taxable as far as society is concerned. But if you do not follow this ruling, then everything is taxable, including your sinking fund, major repair fund, etc., whatever you call it.
Property tax is a reimbursement.
Sir, property tax is what? As far as BMC is concerned, they are recovering now from the individual members. तो सोसाइटी तो प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स रिकवरी नहीं कर रही है. And if they are recovering any property tax, so according to me, property tax should not be leviable, but common area का कुछ property tax society collect कर रही है, then again it will be part of your maintenance. That is the view what I am holding. Yes, sir. सर वन बाय वन सर एक साथ में आप ऐसा मुझे पाकिस्तान समझ के 9 बम मत डालो सर. Correct. I am coming to that, sir. Correct. So that's what I am saying. Nowadays, municipal corporation recover property tax and issues invoice directly on the flat owner, not on the society for the flat or the area what the members occupy. In case of a common area of the society, only that billing of the property tax in some cases has been done by the municipal corporation on the society. So now coming to the common area, pure agent, if you go to rule 33, which says that the supplier or the person who is acting as a pure agent should not procure that goods or services, etc. BMC raises this invoice on whom? Society or member? Society. So are you fulfilling the condition of rule 33? Got my point, sir? So you are not fulfilling the condition of rule 33, and again that property tax you are bifurcating. You are not recovering as it is. You are bifurcating on the area occupied by the members. So in my view, you are not satisfying rule 33 in this case. Correct, sir? Now somebody else was saying something now. So I'll move next. Yes.
Repair fund, what about collecting repair fund?
Repair fund and sinking fund is what? So you are collecting now for major repair, or maybe the sinking fund is again a major repair to be taken place in future. That is what the fund is. If you go to the definition of supply, any supply took place or going to be taken place in future, you are liable to pay GST. Society is supplying a service, not supply of goods. In case of a goods, if you are recovering money in advance, you are not liable to pay tax at that point of time. But in case of services, if you are recovering any money now for the services to be supplied in future, you are liable to pay tax now. So it will become taxable. Maybe आप 10 साल के बाद दे रहे हो, 15 साल के बाद दे रहे हो, because in this case there is no time limit given in the law.
Shop is a member of the society and property tax is collected from shop and paid to PLC. In that case, will it?
So in that case, you are satisfying condition of Rule 33. You will you can take benefit. Yes, sir.
Common property tax, normally the common area is utilized by all the unit holders. So although the bylaw says that the property tax should be segregated on specific basis, but the common area is equal for all. Everybody is free to use it. So it should be divided actually equal.
But you are not satisfying, sir, condition of Rule 33, na? You should not get a title of the services so procured on the member's behalf. That is one of the condition of Rule 33. BMC always issues invoice for this property tax on the society, not on the members. I know your concern because you are one of the celebrity of our study circle who raise voice against the cooperative movement. I know your concern, but we are not satisfying condition of Rule 33, this condition, that's what I am talking about. Because you have to satisfy all the conditions.
In this case, what is your opinion? Because no one is collecting tax on property tax.
property tax, electricity and water. No one is.
Yeah. In my view, it will be.
Clarifying all these things that it should not be. They have given some circular.
No one is collecting and paying.
Yeah. I got your point, madam. So now what happened, na? Chitlange ji. So what happened when GST law came in the year 2017? So somewhere in August, September, October, they've issued various flyers. So which are neither press release nor circular nor instruction, nothing but the flyer for the general members to understand. And in that flyer, they said that electricity and water charges are not taxable. So which has no legal backing or not binding on anyone. See, circular are binding on the department, but these are not the circular. So they are not binding on anyone. And then later on, this flyer has been withdrawn. When they realize the mistake, that this has to be taxable, then they immediately withdraw the flyer.
But then all society practically want that paper. Practically no one is taxing.
बिकॉज क्या होता है ना सर, हमारे जैसे हर सोसाइटी में 2-4 सीए होते हैं और जैसा कन्वीनियंस चाहिए वैसा ओपिनियन लेके आते हैं.
And the root continue to challenge as unconstitutional. Yes.
I don't know, sir. I am not the constitutional expert, but in my view, this provision was there under the erstwhile service tax law also, which has been as it is borrowed in the GST law with some milder version than the service tax law. And still nobody has challenged this constitutionally till now. So this we are seeing since 2002. 23 साल में अभी तक किसी ने नहीं किया है सर. I don't know, but I am not expert on constitution, so may not be able to comment on the same. We'll move to next. I thought society may be interest of everyone, so I took more time.
Very class.
Yes, sir.
7,500 exemption should be brought to court. Right. I think basically the idea of dealing with exemption is to, exempt the low profile society. जो high rich society थे जहाँ पे amenities वगैरह ज्यादा है, उनको taxable bracket में लाना है, so that the low profile society should be exempted from GST. That is the basic idea. Now, if you take that intent of the law as a main crux, then in that case, normal parking charges जो है, जो हर society में होते हैं, so all in that case, अगर आप उसको 7,500 के exemption limit में नहीं लाओगे, तो फिर तो हर society में tax हो जाएगा. Every society will have to start registering. Everyone will have to tax. So उसका basic जो intent है, वो फिर खत्म हो जाएगा. Intent of the law itself is defeated.
I agree with you, sir. But law says something else.
और 7,500 का ये बोल रहे हैं आउटसोर्सिंग ऑफ द सर्विसेज, तो वहां तो मैं ये भी लॉजिक दे सकता हूँ कि मैं पार्किंग एरिया को मेंटेन करने के लिए, उसको धोने के लिए, साफ सफाई रखने के लिए मैं सर्विसेज हायर कर रहा हूँ, तो दैट पार्किंग एरिया इज आल्सो मेंटेन्ड बाय सम आउटसोर्स एजेंसी. तो वो भी मैं लॉजिक लेके मैं इन दिस 7,500 में उसको भी इंक्लूड कर सकता हूँ 7,500.
Sir, we can discuss offline because now it has been recorded. So I will not comment on anything on this. But there is way out. But anyway. So now coming to few case laws I try to cover in input tax credit, which is interest of everyone, because ITC is the topic जिसपे की सबसे ज़्यादा judgments हैं और सबसे ज़्यादा arrest हुए हैं. So there is one judgment in this case, Kerala High Court again. So in this case, what happened is that SSC has claimed ITC under the head IGST instead of CGST and SGST, which is a common mistake जो पहले काफी लोगों ने की है. अब तो आपको 2B में दिख रहा है तो mistakes are chances are very less. And for that, they have issued a circular also कि if you have claim ITC in the IGST instead of C and S, so what you wrongly claim, you pay along with the interest and take the credit. इस तरीके का उन्होंने सर्कुलर भी इशू किया है। अगर आपने है तो आप रिफंड क्लेम कर लो भले, जो भी है वॉट एवर वे, तो दिस सर्कुलर इज देयर। बट इन दिस केस द टाइम लिमिट, वंस द एसएससी रियलाइज्ड इन द ईयर 23, तब तक वो टाइम लिमिट सब चला गया था रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ मिस्टेक का भी। देन अल्टीमेटली कोर्ट सेड दैट in this case, if no revenue loss is there, no loss to the revenue, whether he has collected IGST or CGST or SGST, but government को तो कुछ नुकसान नहीं है. So the SSC should not be penalized and the benefit should be given. So this is a unique case and court has instructed government to give the benefit to the SSC. But in this kind of cases, how many will go to the High Court? And whether this will be a precedent or not, again, this is a challenging because this is based on some fact. But again, the crux, if you see that if there is no revenue loss, then benefit should be given to the SSC. That if you see the punchline of this judgment, so on that basis also you can represent your case at any level on this line. And this is not the only judgment. This kind of judgment, you will get various numerous judgment on this line that if revenue loss is not there, then should not, this kind of cases should not come.
Sir, my question, if the GST officer says in my case that this judgment is not applicable to me, what to do? I will not obey this judgment.
Sir, वो तो क्या बोलता है, मेरे को उसको तो कोई जजमेंट ही नहीं लगता है. My experience is he himself is a law.
Definitely.
No law applicable to assessing officer.
No case rules, no.
So anyway, I do not have answer of this kind of query, but definitely
You can.
if there is no contradictory judgment of any high court, the binding effect is there across India. अब वो माने या उसके ऊपर वाला माने या उसके ऊपर वाला माने, कोई तो इस चीज को मानने वाला है. How many of you have traveled to Atal Setu? बॉम्बे में रह रहे अभी तक अटल सेतु देख के नहीं आए. कन्वेनर सर एक बार घुमा के तो लाओ, अटल सेतु दिखा के लाओ अच्छा है कि नहीं है.
कर लीजिए.
So this is a very interesting judgment and very good judgment of Bombay High Court, how you have to interpret the things and how you have to read the law. Very good judgment. And it is related to Atal Setu only. So here the fact is that if you have seen any construction company, infrastructure company, so many times due to various reasons, two construction company to infrastructure company comes together for a bigger project. So Atal Setu has been constructed by L&T. Correct? We all know. But he has not constructed individually. It has been not constructed by the consortium of L&T and IHI. The two companies come together, form a consortium, bid for the same, got the contract and completed the project. So there is a different GST number for L&T, different for IHI and they're different for consortium. And no mutuality concept in this. Correct? In any government contract, infrastructure contract, they always give some advance to the companies. For what? Mobilization advance. For the services to be supplied in future. Correct, sir? तो अभी हमने just discuss किया sinking fund, repair fund, मेरे भाई, तो उस पे भी टैक्स भरना है. तो जो मोबिलाइजेशन एडवांस है उस पे टैक्स भरना है. Yes or no?
Yes.
So government gave, MMRDA gave some advance to the consortium. तो समझो 100 रुपए का एडवांस दिया कंसोर्टियम को. What consortium does? बैक टू बैक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं, करेक्ट. 95%, 98% goes to the actual partner. 2, 3, 5% remain only with the consortium. So we take an example कि 100 रुपया कंसोर्टियम को आया, 100 रुपए में से 95 रुपया कंसोर्टियम ने एलएनटी को दे दिया, करेक्ट. 100 रुपए पे 18 रुपया कंसोर्टियम ने चार्ज किया गवर्नमेंट को, सो 118 रुपया आया. 95 रुपए पे भी हम फ्रैक्शनल में नहीं जाते, 18 रुपया समझो कंसोर्टियम ने 95 प्लस 18 दे दिया एलएनटी को, करेक्ट. ऐसा ही होगा. बोथ पार्टीज नीड टू पे द टैक्स ऑफ देयर 18%.
Yes.
Now here the question is, the consortium need to pay this 18 rupees tax from the credit what they are going to take from L&T or in a cash. क्या होना चाहिए? हाँ? Once you go to the credit, section 16(2) says that there is 4 or 5 conditions. One is you should have an original invoice, tax invoice. You should receive the goods or services to take the credit. So whether consortium took the services,
No.
received the services,
No. Not. Is advance.
so can they take the credit? This is a very common, I am just giving this example, this is the case, but this is a very common feature that back to back contract जहां पे भी होते हैं ये issues हैं, correct? So can consortium claim ITC? Yes or no? So court has analyzed this situation in great detail. They've gone to the definition of supply. What is supply? अभी हमने थोड़ी देर पहले इसके पहले के जजमेंट में किया, supply to be future is also a supply, correct? So it is a supply from L&T to consortium. There is a supply. We all agree on this? Correct. Now, how you will interpret the word received? There is one very beautiful circular. If you want, you can write down the circular number 211 issued by board. So define what is received. There they took the example in that circular. There is an automobile company. An automobile company always sell their cars at their factory gate. And it is the responsibility of the dealer to pick up that vehicle from factory to their godown. So analyzing this situation, where it has been received, and in that circular, they have said that once it has been handed over to a transporter at the factory gate, then transporter is acting as an agent of the dealer. So it is deemed to be received at factory gate. And further they have analyzed that in the erstwhile Senvet credit rules, in service tax as well as excise duty, there the wording was that it was received in a premises. But section 16(2), the word premises is missing. And under the erstwhile VAT law, the sales always took place at the factory gate. So credit उस टाइम पे मुझे मिल जाता था. So same analogy, same wording we have used here in 16.2. So credit milega. So this is what the meaning of received. So my supply took place from L&T to consortium. Yes or no? Supply took place, no? So it means the service has been received by the consortium. Second is that you should be in possession of tax invoice. That is another condition to be fulfilled. So further, they have analyzed that L&T is required to issue a receipt voucher. If you are receiving any money in advance, you are liable to issue receipt voucher. What is receipt voucher? Acknowledgement of receipt covered under the section 31 of the CGST law act under the heading tax invoice. There is no separate chapter, there is no separate section as far as the receipt voucher is concerned. It is part and parcel of your tax invoice. So receipt voucher is nothing but a tax invoice. So all the conditions has been satisfied and credit can be taken on this basis, receipt basis. So this is what the meaning of word receipt. And further they have said that 16.1 says intended to be used in the course or furtherance of business. So consortium is going to use this service and they have an intention to use this service in their furtherance of business. So credit will be allowed in case of advance, receipt also subject to issuance of receipt voucher.
Sir, even though the suppliers is letting a supplier itself is a transporter, then what happens?
So what is the query exactly, sir?
That whether the ITC can be claimed or not, will be allowed or not.
No, transporter means transporter want to take credit.
No. But the transporter, as we are deeming that it is a transporter of the recipient. But
Yeah, the contract should also say like this. If it will be the responsibility of the dealer, sorry, responsibility of the manufacturer to supply to godown, then it will be received at the godown, not at the factory.
it should be a close.
Yeah. That you have to definitely. Otherwise, you can't say anything, no.
Can word during transport also is goes.
It is always with the dealer as per the contract. Definitely, it has to be. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you are saying that receipt voucher you will not be able to upload.
GST account. So credit will not be reflected.
So what is receipt voucher? Is a tax invoice. All the tax invoice need to be uploaded in GSTR1.
As I not see.
Okay, I got your point. That is a challenge. That is a challenge. But in my view, whether the substantive benefit will be denied only on basis of 2B, that also need to be analyzed and need to be discussed, because Bombay High Court, the period it has been analyzed before the 2B came into existence. So they have not dealt with 2B. So for that you have to wait and watch for another judgment. So again, Hina Medical, again I will say Kerala High Court. It's on the basis of whether anything invoice is not appearing in 2A, can credit be taken? And on the same line, there is a Supreme Court judgment also in case of a Suncraft Energy Private Limited. So ultimately court said that the department cannot only and only on the basis of 2A deny the credit. If other conditions are satisfied what was been mentioned in section 16(2), then credit only on the basis of 2A not appearance cannot be denied. So various reasoning, other thing they have given, I am not going into detail. But this is a very good judgment. Suncraft Supreme Court is very good on this because 2A, 3B notices still we are dealing in many cases. So this judgment, Sina Medical and Suncraft will help you out on this ground. But may not be relevant now because now it is 2B. Again, Patna High Court in case of section 16(4). What is section 16(4)? What is 16(4)? Time limit for claiming credit. So here the question was that if you see section 16(2), which gives the condition for availing credit. So 16(2) is talking about that notwithstanding anything contained in this section. So anything contained in this section. So what is the meaning of this clause? It is overriding all the subsection of the said section?
Yes.
Yes or no? So SSC's contention here was that 16(2) there is no time limit for claiming credit. The time limit has been given in 16(4) and 16(2) is overriding 16(4). Correct? So 16(4) is non-starter and there should not be any time limit, and also they have contested on the basis of Article 14, 19(1)(g) and 300(a) of the Constitution of India. Court has analyzed the same in detail and they said government has a power to restrict the time limit as per Constitution for claiming of credit. So that is the one question what they have answered. About the contradiction between 16(2) and 16(4). So they said that there is no contradiction between 16(2) and 16(4). Both are independent of each other. So if there is a contradiction, then 16(2) will prevail. But if it is not a contradiction at all, then 16(2) is not overriding 16(4) to that extent. Since this is an independent subsection, government has a power and it is a valid provision and they can restrict the credit on the basis of time. This is a very good case, Safari Retreat. सबको ही पता होगा. So skip करें. नहीं. So ये judgment सुनने के बाद then you should take a call कि whether we should follow Indian Medical Association Kerala High Court or not. So we will discuss this. So here the fact, I think everybody is aware that there is a Safari Retreat company who is going to construct a mall, which they are going to give on a lease basis and they are not going to sell anything to the customer. And here the question was whether they can take the credit, whatever material, labor, etc. they are going to use for the construction of a mall. There is no supply of work contract service, but there is a supply of leasing service. Odisha High Court said that this goods or services are going to use for further supply of leasing service So Constitution, as per Constitution, Article 14, it will be injustice that you are not giving the benefit of the ITC to the SSC. So constitutionally, that restriction of 17(5)(c) as well as D are not correct. I hope everybody is aware about what is C and D. So that restriction is not valid. Against this judgment, department went into Supreme Court. और लोगों को थोड़ा टनल में कुछ लाइट दिखी तो लोगों ने क्या किया, सब उस बोट पे चढ़ गए, उस नाव में चढ़ गए. वो होटल वाला है, वेयर हाउस वाला है, मॉल वाला है, एवरीवन. बोले चलो कुछ तो है रास्ता, चढ़ जाओ. So first of all, Supreme Court said that as far as the constitutional validity is concerned, it is constitutionally valid. Government has a power to restrict certain credit. So there is no issue at all. But there is a difference between the wording what has been used in section 17(5)(c) as well as 17(5)(d). 17(5)(c) is talking about taking of work contract service, credit of work contract service. For further supply of work contract, credit is available. Work contract service used for construction of plant and machinery, then credit is allowed. Otherwise, credit is not allowed. What is plant and machinery? Has been defined in section 17(6), explanation to 17(6). It has been defined what is plant and machinery. 17(5)(d) is talking about procuring of material as well as services. Outcome may be ultimately a work contract service. So there they are saying that if you are into further supply of work contract service, you will get a credit. But if this goods or services are procured for construction of plant or machinery, then credit is allowed. So D is talking about plant or machinery, C is talking about plant and machinery. Plant and machinery is defined, but what is plant or machinery has not been defined in the GST law at all. So then they have analyzed various Supreme Court judgments in case of income tax or erstwhile VAT law, etc., etc. And then they said that hotels or cinema theaters cannot be called as plant because it has been earlier decided by the Supreme Court in various different judgments. But apart from that, mall, warehouse or building can be plant or machinery. They said this question has not arose earlier. So we are not going to decide on that. And they remanded back that matter to Odisha High Court to check functionality check whether this three can be called as plant. And they said if it is be plant, then the credit of the same will be available. After this judgment, department filed a review petition before the Supreme Court on this judgment, which has been rejected by the Supreme Court. But immediately what they did is they have retrospectively amended the law, and in D also or has been replaced with and, with the explanation saying that this and has to be read from 1st July 2017. So now you can't go to the constitutional validity of the same. If it has been constitution, then the date from when the constitution has been amended, tab se change hota. But the court has said that constitutionally they have a power. That's why now it has been retrospectively amended and credit will be denied.
In case of cooperative society, if major repair is carried out, then whether ITC can do.
ले लेने का नहीं लेंगे तो हमारी दुकान नहीं चलेगी ना. See, if you go to section 17.5 C as well as D both, the explanation to both this subclause says that if this has been capitalized, then credit is restricted. Societies, whenever they are carrying out a major repair, maybe 10 crore, 15 crore, 20 crore rupees also, then they debit to profit and loss account. So the ultimately objective of government is that if you are constructing a immovable property, which is neither goods nor service, that's why we are restricting the credit. And repair services, so definitely, so if you are repairing a hotel building, then also credit is allowed. Not only society, anything. This is also very good judgment. If you read section 17.5H, what it says is, if any material is lost, destroyed, given as a free sample, then ITC of the same need to be reversed, or ITC of the same is not allowed. Correct? We all are aware about this subsection, subsection of 17.5. Here in case of AR steel and alloys, there is a loss of a small portion of inputs inherent to the manufacturing process. अगर मैंने समझो 10 किलो माल डाला मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, 9.9 किलो ही माल वापस आता है, 0.1 kg माल मेरा लॉस्ट हो जाता है. That is a normal production loss, what we call. So department in this case started recovering tax of this 0.1%, saying that 17.5H is there and you have to reverse the ITC. क्या करना चाहिए? So court has analyzed and said that whatever normal loss is there, ITC cannot be denied. So there is no loss of goods.
This law of fire. What will happen? Everybody will have a different percentage of loss. Then only
normal loss, or what is accepted industry loss.
all the loss can also be different. If you are using old machine, the normal loss can be more.
So that's what I'm saying. As per industry practice, whatever material you are using, whatever machineries you are using, depending on that. Yes,
Loss due to some natural calamity or a fire. It has to be. It has to be.
I'll give an example. Client came to me, I think 3 years or 4 years back. So उसका भिवंडी में गोडाउन था, and he used to manufacture क्या बोलते हैं उसको, जो मच्छी है ये टैबलेट्स होती है ना, मेडिसिन, उसके पैकिंग में दे यूज द फॉइल. करेक्ट, फॉइल में पैक होती है टैबलेट्स और whatever capsules etc. So he used to manufacture that, which is to be used for used by pharmaceuticals. So भिवंडी में उसके गोडाउन में पानी आ गया. ठीक है, पानी आ गया, नेचुरल क्लैमिटीज है, और उसकी वजह से सर उसका जो फॉइल है वो पानी में 10 दिन रहा. Now can this be used by pharmaceutical? No. Under any circumstances, no. Now it will not remain as a food grade foil or food grade aluminum, whatever you call it, but can be used for another purpose. Correct? तो समझो उसका 1 करोड़ का माल होगा, उसके पास डेफिनेटली इंश्योरेंस था. इंश्योरेंस कंपनी टोल्ड दैट यू स्क्रैप दिस, जितना आएगा बैलेंस आई विल पे. सो 1 करोड़ का मटेरियल था जो कि 10,000 रुपए में उसका बिक गया. So it is destroyed or it is lost. In my view, it is neither destroyed nor lost. Because जितना केजी मेरा माल था उतना केजी माल आज भी है, वैल्यू कम हो गई. What is the meaning of loss or destroyed? So in that case, input credit cannot be denied. But अगर यही फायर होता तो उड़ जाता तो definitely it has been lost. So credit will be denied. So depending on the fact or circumstances, whatever you can say.
The quantity is same.
In that
Absolutely.
quantity is same as-
Absolutely.
Manishi, in that case, the insurance claim which has been received,
वो 99 पे ही मिला ना सर, क्योंकि जो इतना मेरे को पैसा मिला उसका बैलेंस ही उसने दिया ना.
हाँ,
तो हमेशा वैसा ही होता है सर. इंश्योरेंस पूरा कभी नहीं देगा. इंश्योरेंस क्लेम मिला इसका मतलब गुड लॉस नहीं हो गया. डज नॉट मीन दैट गुड हैज बीन लॉस्ट. वैल्यू जीरो होना चाहिए. आजकल दोनों जीएसटी इंश्योरेंस क्लेम आते हैं, विद जीएसटी विदाउट जीएसटी आल्सो. सो यू हैव टू पे एक्स्ट्रा प्रीमियम. So now if you file an appeal, you need to pay a pre-deposit. Here the question is SSC paid the pre-deposit amount from electronic credit ledger. Department said that it is not a pre-deposit. Pre-deposit has to be in cash. So क्या होना चाहिए?
that is input credit.
So Gujarat High Court in case of Yasho Industries, similar fact, said that nowhere in the law it has been mentioned that pre-deposit has to be in cash. And as far as GST law is concerned, credit as cash. It is one and the same. Both are payments. And it said it need to be paid. So SSC has paid from any account. So it is a valid thing, and you should the lower authority should proceed and allow give the judgment only on the basis of merit, not on the basis of pre-deposit. And again, Supreme Court has affirmed the same judgment also. तो इसके बाद डिपार्टमेंट इधर रुका नहीं. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी गया, and Supreme Court has affirmed the
Free of cost. That's a
small thing, this will costly affair for the assessee, it will costly affair. Going to Supreme Court.
so that you have to decide कि जो भी मैं इधर डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ उसके लिए आगे जाना है कि नहीं जाना है. So this is very good judgment, Srinivasa Shetty, Karnataka High Court. You all are aware that there is two sections under which they are issuing a show cause notice generally. One is section 73 and another is section 74. What is 74? When there is a fraud, suppression of fact, misinterpretation, misleading, etc., then it will go to 74. And where the penalty is also higher and the time limit is also higher. Otherwise, it will go to section 73. In this case, department has issued a ex parte order under section 74. And there was no allegation of suppression of fact or fraud, etc. Otherwise, notice should contain correct. उसका टाइम लिमिट ज्यादा हो गया था, 73 का टाइम लिमिट चला गया, तो वो क्या करता है 74 में. अभी 30 जून के पहले आए होंगे ना 74 के नोटिस सबको भर भर के, क्योंकि 74 का लास्ट डेट था 30 जून. करेक्ट. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम डिस्कसिंग दिस इज एसएससी सेड दैट ठीक है मैंने जो भी किया that is going in 73, there is no allegation and there is no suppression of fact, there is no misleading also. So this notice should be issued in 73. And why he's saying so is because at that point of time that amnesty was there for 73 and he want to take the benefit. So immediately court said that it will be in 73. Accordingly, you pass an order under 73 and accordingly give the benefit of amnesty. This is in respect of refund on the false ground. Whenever you are going for a refund and department do not want to give refund for export, so various kind of document, various kind of things, and only on various ground they are rejecting the refund claim. Here the refund claim was roughly 1 crore 23 lakhs, and they said that non-furnishing of proof of payment received within 180 days, non-furnishing of proof of export within 90 days. So various ground they have given. And one by one court analyzed that, and they said that there is no condition for granting a refund that money should be received from foreign party within 180 days. It is as per the RBI guideline. Proof of export within 90 days of invoice is not required. So all these things, various ground, whatever has been mentioned in the law, only on that basis you should go, not on the basis of whatever instructions you have internally. On that basis, you can't go and reject the refund. That is what the case in this scenario. This is a unique case. Whether right, wrong, I don't know. I am also have not able to made my mind on this. And this judgment came in the year last month only, June 2025. So that's why I am not able to mention the citation also, because it has not been reported. I have just captured from the site. It is Sipca India Private Limited, and here the refund of 4 crore 37 lakh. The issue here is that the company was having a factory in the state of Sikkim. And now they decided that we want to close this factory. And at the time of closing this factory, they have a ITC balance of 4 crore 37 lakh in their credit ledger, because of the various incentive schemes announced by the स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, तो उसका बेनिफिट ले लिया और उसकी वजह से एक्यूमुलेशन इसके पास हो गया. That accumulation that is not falling, that is not neither falling under export nor falling under inverted rate duty structure. So department said that we are able to give only two kinds of refund. Either it has to be in export or maybe in inverted duty. Your case is not following either of the case. So refund will be rejected. SSC went into the court. And then court said that in CGST Act, section 49, 6 and 54 does not explicitly prohibit refund upon business closure. There is no specific restriction for giving refund on this. 49(6) grant a taxpayer for refund of unutilized ITC after the payment of taxes, interest, fees, etc. And 54 deals with the refund of tax. So there is no specific restriction, but the law is talking about of giving two kind of refund. But there is no restriction. Since there is no restriction and this is a beneficial provision, so refund should be granted for unutilized ITC on the closure of business. They have said unutilized ITC ka restriction hai, but at the closure of business there is no restriction. So then it will be granted, and the court said the same. This came on 10th June 2025. This is also not so important. We can skip.
डिपार्टमेंट ने रिपोर्ट दिया उनको.
सर अभी मालूम नहीं ना, 10 जून को तो डिसीजन आया है. 10 जून 2025 को डिसीजन आया है. डेफिनेटली जाएंगे. 4.5 करोड़ रुपए का तो छोड़ने वाले नहीं है. और ये एक ही फैक्ट्री ऐसी नहीं है ना, तो कई फैक्ट्रीज ऐसी हैं. So I don't think department will give refund at this stage. Definitely they will. They want to test this in Supreme Court. and may come out with the restrictions also that closure of business पे भी restriction लेके आ जाए. I don't know then. We have to wait for at least next budget. 1 फरवरी को मैडम के पिटारे से क्या आता है देखते हैं सर इस पर.
Prospective आ जाएगा.
I don't know sir. Difficult to comment. And delay in filing on procedural ground in this particular case they have allowed, but again difficult to get the relief as far as. This is also important judgment, Gujarat High Court in case of Alpha Tools Private Limited. So we all know that leasing is a service.
Yes.
Correct? Correct. But here the case is that if you go to GIDC, MIDC, they gives land for running of a factory to certain manufacturer for 99 year of lease with the condition that you are going to do a manufacturing on the same premise. मैंने premises लिया 10 साल 20 साल 25 साल यूज किया. Now it is not viable for any reason for me, so I decided to sell this infrastructure along with the building. So now GST department started issuing a notice saying that the money what you are getting is leasing transaction. Because MIDC ने आपको दिया या GIDC ने आपको दिया और आपने इसको further transfer किया. So it is a supply of service and GST shall be leviable on this. और ये जो बिल्डिंग है तो 25 करोड़ 30 करोड़ 50 करोड़ के नीचे की कोई भी डील होती नहीं है. So amount involved is very huge. और कहीं ना कहीं हर स्टेट में डेली एक ना दो 1 2 3 ट्रांजेक्शन होते ही होते हैं. इस तरीके की डील होती है. So stakes are very high. So now Alpha Tool went into the Gujarat High Court and discussed this in great detail. And they said this is not a leasing transaction. I am not the owner. Who is the owner? GIDC in his case. What I am doing is I am assigning a leasehold right. What has been given to me by GIDC. So I am just assigning that leasehold right to somebody else. Ultimately transfer जो भी करना है, lease deed जो भी करना है वो तो GIDC और नए बायर के बीच में ही होगा. So जो leasehold right what I got is nothing but the benefit arising out of land.
Capital.
Correct? And there are various judgments in the income tax saying that it is a capital receipt. So what I am doing is I am assigning a leasehold right, which is nothing but a transfer of land and which is exempt under Schedule 3, not exempt, which is neither service or neither supply of service nor supply of goods as far as Schedule 3 is concerned. So no GST shall be leviable on the same. This is what this judgment they have dealt with this in detail. Section 7(1)(b). Then again Schedule 2 में again they have said that this is a coming under service and service में भी ये service में नहीं आता है. इसके लिए इसके ऊपर tax नहीं लगेगा. So lot of notices even today we are getting on this issue and you can go through this judgment. This is very beautifully drafted. Bombay High Court has also given a stay in a similar judgment on the basis of Gujarat High Court judgment. So that also you can, if you want, you can quote the same.
So actually in the Supreme Court.
हाँ वो डिपार्टमेंट तो सर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में है.
Everybody has got the notices.
Yes, yes, sir. They have issued notice to everyone.
One and all, you may say,
Two things. एक तो आपने मर्डर कर दिया, एक आप करने वाले. सो ऑलरेडी उसने कर दिया है डील, अब उसको डिपार्टमेंट का नोटिस आ गया है। सो उस केस में आपके पास क्या ऑप्शन है? फाइल अपील, take rely on this judgment, apply the ratio of the same, correct, and say that there is no intention to evade tax. So 74 में नहीं आना चाहिए, 73 में आना चाहिए, because the court का ruling ही है. So then you can't say it is a suppression of fact, etc., etc. And then again, these data are always available on registrar and GIDC or MIDC, which are again a government body. मेरा अगर intention to evade होता तो ये सब होता ही नहीं. So there is no 74. That also you contest and file an appeal. Another is you are going to enter. There is one AR citation, I do not remember now, and we say this is a service and उसको credit buyer को मिलेगा. So if buyer in a position to take the credit, golden rule as I said, charge the tax, collect the tax and pay the same recipient. Since this is not a capital receipt, as far as the department is saying, they are saying this is a lease right. Leasing का कहीं restriction नहीं है 17(5) में. It is going to be used furtherance of business, so credit will be available to. So this is another thing.
Not capital.
No, leasing. See, if it is a capital asset, if it is a immovable property, then it is neither supply of good nor supply of service. So department cannot take two stand, no. Either department will say this is a service, then taxable. Department will say it is a capital receipt, then it is neither supply of good nor supply of service, no tax.
Treatment in books of account doesn't affect.
Doesn't affect. Yes, yes. उससे कुछ लेना देना नहीं है.
That case, the department may deny the ITC.
नहीं, वो तो आपको कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ ना कुछ तो फाइट करना है, लेकिन इधर पैसा लेके बैठे हो आप, तो आप तो सेफ हो ना.
Sir, in such cases against the show cause notice, we should file the writ or we should go that appeal.
रेट पिटिशन डालोगे आप तो कॉस्ट लंबा है. कोई और ने अपना सर डाल ही दिया है तो उसका रिजल्ट आने तक वेट करो ना, तब तक अपने को इसको खींचते रहो. बराबर है. बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट में ऑलरेडी केस चल रहा है, सर ने बताया सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ऑलरेडी चला गया है. आपका अपील खत्म होते होते तक अगर वहां का डिसीजन आ गया तो वेल एंड गुड. तो व्हाई टू स्पेंड सो मच मनी ना, और आपको क्या जल्दी है? ऑलरेडी नोटिस आ गया, आपको बाहर तो कोई भी हालत में टैक्स देने वाला नहीं है, करेक्ट. तो क्यों जल्दी है, क्यों मैं खर्चा करूं, शांति से बैठो देखते हैं. वो अपने में एक कहावत है सर संजय जी, दूसरे के कंधे पे बंदूक लगा के चलाने में मजा अलग है ना. अपना कंधा क्यों इस्तेमाल करना है कोर्ट में जाके. सर कभी बंद करना है बता देना, कन्वेना सर. नहीं, उन्होंने मुझे 1 बजे तक का टाइम दिया था.
आपकी इच्छा है सर.
वैल्यू हो रही है और उसमें जो प्लेट मिलता है ओल्ड तो उस पर जीएसटी लगेगा. पार्ट ऑफ बिल्डिंग.
See again whether development right is a service or not is a big question mark. So एक जजमेंट भी है हाई कोर्ट का, I have not covered that, and there they are saying that development right is not a service. That judgment is there.
बॉम्बे एयरपोर्ट.
No, it is not Bombay High Court. I think it is Gujarat और तमिलनाडु. I know चेन्नई है, शायद मद्रास हाई कोर्ट या तमिलनाडु इसका है, गुजरात का किसका है मुझे अभी याद नहीं है ऐसा citation, but they are saying that it is not development right is not a service. And again further the judgment is saying कि अगर taxability है तो they should give it 2 options, because value of land is neither service or nor goods. So service is only the construction, तो उतने पे लगाना चाहिए. You can't force कि 1/3 deduction only toward lands we will give. It is up to the supplier to decide 1/3 deduction लेना है या actual पे मुझे भरना है. So if you see the place like Mumbai, जहां हम बैठे हैं 30, 35, 40 हजार के नीचे का भाव नहीं होगा अगर मैं बात करूं. ग्रीना कैन टेल अस बेटर. ग्रीना बराबर है. और कंस्ट्रक्शन कॉस्ट तो 4-5 हजार रुपए के ऊपर नहीं आती, कितना भी प्रीमियम आप कंस्ट्रक्शन करो. तो कैन 1/3 इज जस्टिफाइबल? आंसर इज नो. So still these cases are still going on, and few of the builders have took the call, okay, we'll follow this judgment and we'll pay on actual basis. So still they are paying on actual basis, took that risk. Yes, sir.
Redevelopment case time. सारे members they are, builder market value के ऊपर GST चार्ज कर रहा है redevelopment cases. And in Gadia Center, of the नए फ्लैट ओनर्स को तो लगा ही रहा है, न्यू डेवलप है, एक्जिस्टिंग जो ओल्ड मेंबर्स हैं उनको भी, उनसे भी GST रिकवर करने की डिमांड पे चल. इज इट लाइक
See, as far as in case of redevelopment, दो चीज है. एक तो सोसाइटी दे रही है डेवलपमेंट राइट, which already I discussed. Another service what is the builder is giving to the members. What builder is giving is the construction service, and there is some value attached to it. It is not giving free of cost. That is what I personally believe. I personally also believe that it is not free of cost. Correct? So, since this is a service, GST should be leviable on the same. What is exchange, sir?
अभी it's sort of a barter exchange ना, पुराना फ्लैट आप
नहीं, एडिशनल एरिया ही मिल रहा है.
So there is no exchange what I believe. उस चीज को उसने पूरा तोड़ दिया, डेमोलिश कर दिया और उसी लैंड के ऊपर नया कंस्ट्रक्शन किया. करेक्ट? सो आपके पास समझो 500 स्क्वायर फीट था, आप 600 मिला, तो 500 तो जीरो हो गया और 600 उसने नया दिया. So what service he has given is not only 100 square feet. He is giving a service on 600 square feet. So GST should be नहीं, उस पे वैल्यूएशन एस्पेक्ट पे आता हूं मैं. So GST first of all, if applicable, has to be applicable on 600 square feet because the service he is giving of 600 square feet. नहीं आता, वैल्यूएशन पे नहीं हो सर. पहले तो हम एनालाइज करें कि भाई मुझे टैक्स लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा. लगेगा तो कितने एरिया पे लगेगा और क्या वैल्यू पे लगेगा. As far as value is concerned, again there is a judgment which says that you should pay on construction cost or maybe plus 10% because GST में उसने बोला है कि if you cannot determine the value, cost plus 10%. That is one aspect as far as the judgment is concerned. But as far as the law is concerned, notification is concerned, notification is talking about in this scenario is the builder is liable to pay GST on first registered, not registered, first well property sold to independent buyer. वो जो वैल्यू पे बेचा है उस पे आपको देना है. तो समझो मेरा 30,000 का भाव चल रहा है, पोजीशन के टाइम 35,000 का भाव हो गया. टैक्स उसको पे करना है, एज पर नोटिफिकेशन टैक्स उसको पे करना है 35,000 पे. बट फर्स्ट फ्लैट उसने उस टाइम पे 30,000 का भाव था, लेकिन फर्स्ट फ्लैट उसने 27,000 में बेचा इंडिपेंडेंट बायर को. तो बाकी एग्जिस्टिंग को भी 27,000 पे उसको भरना पड़ेगा. That is what the notification says. But if you follow this judgment, what I was discussing, then it has to be maybe 4,500 or 5,000, whatever may be the construction cost. But builder do not want to take any risk because एक बार आपको पोजीशन दे दिया और बाद में नोटिस आया, so they don't want to carry any risk. So they are going as per the notification, charging on the higher amount and paying the same. And if any builder will come to me, so I will also suggest the same thing to him. If you take the first contract value to safeguard yourself. तो 2/3 डिडक्शन दे रहे हैं ना सर, 7.5% भरना है, वो तो 5% ही मांग रहा है. तो वन टाइम डिडक्शन टुवर्ड लैंड देके कर रहा है वो, है सर, लिटिगेशन है. We have-
Speaking, we are giving him old flats. He also constructed a, therefore what he is doing is new property.
So you are not giving old flat, you are giving a development right. Correct.
When he said development right, so he is given the service of development right to the society, not to individual people. Yeah, society gives to a development right actually.
So society cannot give unless the individual member agree for the same. हर एक फ्लैट मेंबर को करना पड़ेगा ना.
जिनमें फ्लैट पे उसने सर्विस टैक्स रेजिम में सर्विस टैक्स तो भरा ही था ना, तो अभी वो प्रॉपर्टी के डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ टैक्स.
सर्विस टैक्स आया था 2016 में, हम 2025 में बैठे हैं. 2025 में 10 साल 12 साल पहले में वापस कोई रिडेवलपमेंट मैंने नहीं देखा बिल्डिंग का होते हुए. एंड अगर है भी तो भी उधर भरा, लॉ में कोई ऐसा रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. आज हो सकता है हम 2025 में बैठे हैं, रीडेवलप हो गई सोसाइटी, ठीक है, 2100 में फिर रीडेवलप होने जा रही है आफ्टर 75 ईयर. तो देन यू से अच्छा मैंने 75 साल पहले जीएसटी भरा, अभी वापस क्यों भरूं? दैट विल नॉट वर्क. ये मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरर से डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के पास गया, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर से होलसेलर के पास, देन रिटेलर के पास, देन मेरे पास आया. हर एक ने तो जीएसटी भरा ही है ना सेम ट्रांजेक्शन पे. So there are various judgment and n number of judgment. If I go on continuously talking, so maybe 2 days, 3 days, 4 days will not be enough. So whatever I thought may be relevant to all the members, I tried to cover. Whatever I discussed was my opinions or views, and opinions or views are like wristwatches. Every watch shows different time from others, but everyone believes that their time is right. So once again, I thank Study Circle as well as all the members for a patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish ji, for giving some such nice judgment on GST. I request our deputy convener, Dalit Bansal, to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Convener. Manish, thank you for sacrificing your morning walk today for us. So, when we are GST comes to our organization, first we want to. So, thank you, Manish bhai, for wonderful control on the subject, and thank you, members. For us to discuss this wonderful topic. Thank you, all. Thank you.
Okay.